In the third arc of Bleach, we get properly introduced to a subspecies of the Hollows named the Arrancar. Hollows who rip their masks, attaining Shinigami-like abilities. And let me stop right there. When naming their abilities, why do we, the viewer and Shinigami in the series, say Shinigami-like? And you might say that it's because they do have abilities similar to the Shinigami. Duh. But what if it's the other way around? After all, the only reason we say their abilities are like the Shinigami is because we were introduced to the Shinigami first. But if you remember, natural Arrancars do exist while there's no such thing as a natural Shinigami. An Arrancar is a state of being, and the Shinigami is a minimum wage profession. Most of the Arrancars we meet were hollows part of the regular Menos Grande cycle, either Dillions, Ajutras, or Vasto Lords. But in the current story, we meet two naturally occurring Arrancars in Yukiura and Stark. Technically three with Lilinet, and possibly more that aren't outright confirmed. What these three Arrancars show us is that an Arrancar can occur naturally, although it's incredibly rare, and that both of them had their masks ripped due to their extraordinary strength. It might have well just fallen off. So even though they aren't part of the cycle, just on the average that we've seen, a stable natural Arrancar would be above a Vasto Lord. I had to bring up that it's the average, as this wouldn't be the case all the time. Grimjow's Fraction does have a point in how some hollows are simply meant to evolve, while others aren't. After all, the strongest hollow to exist is Ikimichi the Moi, and he's an Ajutra. Not only that, but in a scene that wasn't animated, Grand Fisher's mask was painfully torn off, making him an Arrancar. This makes any hollows have the possibility of turning into an Arrancar if they're willing to go through that painful process, although it'll be unstable if they aren't strong enough. The Menos Grande cycle starts when the whole of a hollow can't be filled by human souls anymore, so they devour their own. In the Primordial Sea, though, when every race was in the same dimension, humans turning into souls without moving anywhere else would make it much easier to have lingering attachments, making hollows much more common. This would in turn make hollows in the Menos Grande cycle more common as well, and in turn make higher levels of the cycle such as Adjutras and Bastolords more common. You see where I'm going with this? Vasto lords and Arrancars were incredibly common in the Primordial Sea, and even when the three worlds were brand new millions of years ago. This was something that was slightly implied with Beridan's origin story in Can't Fear Your Own World. He was one of the first Vasto lords in Hueco Mundo, and he found many other Vasto lords to become king and stay king. It would be over time as hollows were separated from their food and each other in a vast desert that led to the higher hollows becoming rarer in the current story with barely 5 Vasto lords and Baradon being bored because he has no competition whatsoever. I bring all of this up to say that if hollows are a naturally occurring phenomena that exist even in the primordial sea, with the soul chain predating the concept of Shinigami, that would make Arrancars predate Shinigami as well. So Arrancars predate the concept of a Shinigami. What does that exactly matter? Well, it means that Arrancars are the template for everything Shinigami. Look at the arts of a Shinigami and the arts of an Arrancar. Shinigami have to learn Ho-Ho, they have to learn Kido, and they have to be given a nameless blade to turn into a Zanpakuto, while everything an Arrancar has is something they instinctively know. They don't have to learn how to fire a Zero, they don't have to learn how to do Sonido, and their Zanpakuto is born the moment they become an Arrancar. Oetu Nimaya, the Zanpakuto god, is an unknown age, although it's my personal headcanon that he's millions of years old, but, based on everything that I said, thousands of years ago, he was seen around Tarzan. Notice how activating it makes them more powerful, and see this as a way to channel a soul's innate strength. He would experiment in finding a way to replicate this, eventually landing on using souls to create a nameless blade for people to imprint their souls on. Powerful souls, seeing how Arantars move with Sonido, try to replicate that, in turn developing Shunpo. These souls, seeing how an Arantar and Hollow can channel their Yoku to form Zeros, try to replicate that, developing an entire arsenal that far surpasses a simple energy blast. That is why the most basic Kido spell that they try to teach you is a small Zero. It's the most basic form of channeling Yordei Ryoku that even a mindless Hollow can do it. After all, why is it called Kido, the demon arts, if it's not based on such demonic beings? And as millions of years go by and the Arantars slowly die out because of the previously stated reason, Aizen brings a resurgence of them back, making Shinigami think that Arantars came second, when in reality, they're the progenitors of everything a Shinigami does. It's the Shinigami who have Arantar-like abilities. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and have a good rest of your day.